Number 3, we're given this linear function. F of x is 3x plus 7, and we want to find f of 6. Right, this is pretty straightforward here, right? Don't you think? Here's the function. The function is this rule right here. Whatever comes in, multiply it by 3, add 7. Now what's coming in is a 6. So you can see that that x has been replaced with a 6. So replace all the x's with a 6. So I'll put a 6 right here. Right, so this is going to be f of 6 is equal to 3.6 plus 7. This is what? 18 plus 7. So let's say then that f of 6 is 25. So I'm just going to say what it means now. It says this. When the input is 6, right, when the input is 6, the output is 25. Right, so you put in a 6, process it with the F processor, and you get out a 25. Number 9, we're given this quadratic, right? We're given a quadratic function, and what we want to do is find f of negative 1. So we're going to find f of negative 1. So our input value is negative 1. What are we going to do with it? We're going to replace, you can see that that x has been replaced with negative 1, right? X has been replaced by negative 1. So replace all the x's with negative 1. That is going to look like this. F of negative 1 will be 7, and then instead of x, I'll replace with negative 1, minus 12, negative 1, plus 8. So I get 7 times, now negative 1 squared is 1. Negative 12 times negative 1 is positive 12, plus 8. This looks like 12 and 8 is 20, and 7 more. Looks like, what, 27? All right, so f of negative 1, I'm going to claim is 27. So I won't write it here, I'll just say it. But when the input is negative 1, the output, that whole collection of symbols, when the input is negative 1, the output is 27. Put in a negative 1, process it, you get out a 27. Now we have another quadratic. Actually, this is a cubic, right? This is a cubic. We got an x cubed here. So we want to compute two things here. First of all, we want to find f of, what do we want here? F of negative 1 and then f of 2. So let's find f of negative 1, right? So I'm going to put in negative 1 so I can see that that x in my original description of the function, that x has been replaced with negative 1. So replace all the x's with negative 1. We will get negative, all right, negative 1 squared plus 2 times negative 1 cubed minus 15. That'll give us negative, now 1 squared is 1. And then what about this one? Negative 1 cubed is negative 1. Negative 1 times 2 is negative 2 minus 15. So that looks like negative 18. So f of negative 1 is negative 18. And then what about f of 2? All right, so go back to your original description of the function. Replace all the x's with 2, right? You can see that that x has been replaced with 2. So replace all the x's, that one and that one, with a 2. We will get negative, all right? Replace that x with a 2, 2 squared, plus 2 times 2 cubed, minus 15. Now be careful here. It's negative 2 squared. The square does not apply to the negative. That would look like this. That would be, see if I can write it, negative 2 squared. That's not what we've got. We just want to square the 2, right? So we'll have negative 2 squared is 4, right? So we'll get negative 4 plus, now what happens here? 2 cubed is 8. 8 times 2, 16, minus 15. So what do we get for f of 2? Well, 16 minus 15 is a 1. Negative 4 plus 1 is negative 3.